Good evening. Setanta Sports coverage of Italy's Serie A returns after the Christmas break, with the Milan side desperate for a win to keep alive their faint hopes of catching Juventus. But Inter slipped up earlier on today against Siena, so a win tonight can see Milan go back second. Their opponents are Parma, who are in the bottom three of the league table. They're actually on a good run, a three-match unbeaten run. But they're big underdogs tonight inside the Giuseppe Meazza, the San Siro Stadium. Although their coach has been saying that they are far from lambs to the slaughter, it is going to be a tough game for them this evening. Brian Hamilton alongside me in the commentary position, and Brian, it's a game that Milan simply have to win.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about it now. Juventus have been quite relentless in what they've been doing. They just continually win, and everybody else has got to follow suit. And there's no doubt Milan, if they're looking to do anything, they must win tonight.
Now then, team news is in. We knew beforehand that there was no Cafu or Maldini for Milan, and they've got some further bad news. Jaap Stam was expected to return to their side, but he doesn't, and so they're without him. You see that Dario Šimić, the Croatian international, continues right back, and the rest of the side is pretty much as you would expect. Alberto Gilardino, of course, a former Parma hero, scored 46 goals in 2 Serie A seasons for Parma before his €30 million move in the summer. And now there's a shock inclusion in the Parma side. Fernando Couto there, the 36-year-old, hasn't played much for them this season, but he comes in with the likes of Coley and Kamara away at the African Cup of Nations. It was expected that Daniele Bonera would return to the Parma side, but he isn't deemed fit enough to take his place in the team. And an extra little note of interest up front is Bernardo Corradi, who scored 4 in his last 4 games in Serie A for Parma, is being linked with a move to Milan as a possible replacement for Christian Vieri. Intrigue as ever, Brian, in the Italian football. Well, that's what we've come to expect. I like Corradi. I don't know what happened to him in Spain. I always liked him in Italy. I thought he was strong, he was aggressive, he was good in the air, and he scored goals. So I'm not surprised that Milan are looking to bring him to the club. Parma have signed a new deal this week with a new kit sponsor. So we will see all change in their outfits. They'll still be wearing the traditional colours. It's a cold night in Milan tonight, as you can see from the mascots all dressed up nice and warm. And the familiar-looking players of Milan there. Shevchenko leading them tonight. And they turned things around. They were under intense pressure, particularly Ancelotti, towards the end of 2005. They finished the year with a really good victory against Livorno, and it just means that they can start 2006 with a little bit more optimism, or with their tail slightly higher. Well, it was a difficult start of the season for them, and I do not think they recovered from the previous season when they lost to Liverpool and Juventus in almost simultaneous matches. It was a huge end of the season, bad end of the season, and they've really not recovered. So this part of the year they have got to get it right. They've got to win matches if they're going to make, as I say, any move to get up close to Juventus. They're 12 points behind Juve as it stands. They can reduce that to 9, which would be more realistic, because they have played the one less game as it stands. So, but any mistake tonight against Parma obviously would increase the pressure on Ancelotti once again. Well, I don't think Ancelotti's too worried, because he has had such a fantastic time and done so well, and he's such an experienced guy. But I think he's the right man for the job. But I do honestly believe that Juventus can make a mistake. This is the problem for Milan. They simply can't make a mistake. They've got to win all the matches that they're playing in, the ones they're expected to win, and when they play Juve, they've got to beat them again. 2 skippers there with the referee, who is a very young man indeed, Silvio Mazzoleni. He's only 31 years of age. He's an art restorer, which would be handy for you, Brian. You've got a few Rembrandts, haven't you, tucked away in the attic? You can maybe do some on my face. I think that would be the main part. It's only his 4th game in charge of a Serie A match, though. There's Gilardino, who says that he will celebrate tonight. He had some good times at Parma. He was a terrific player for them, and he made them an awful lot of money. His money is basically keeping them afloat as it stands, the €30 million they got for him. So they can't complain about anything that he's done for the club, and that whatever he may do tonight if he scores. Absolutely, and he, as you say, was remarkable for them, scored important goals. And Ancelotti
looking very pensive actually, but he doesn't give very much away, and I would think he'd be quietly confident that his team will win quite well tonight.
The two coaches, Mario Beretta is his opposite number. He was reported to be close to the sack early in the season, but then it is Italian football, so I suppose you're only ever a couple of games away from the sack. There's the young referee tonight, as I say, 31, so there's a lot of responsibility on him this evening. We are just about ready to get underway. Milan in their classic red and black, and Parma in the white and black, as Mr. Mazzoleni gets us underway for the start of this game. Last played on December 21st, before the break, of course. And the Parma players were only given 4 days off. The Milan players had a full 11 days off. So Ancelotti obviously trusting his players not to overindulge over Christmas. Parma enjoyed some possession early on, but it was nipped back pretty effectively for Milan. And now Serginho with the gloves on, reflecting the temperature. Should have got used to it. He's been playing in Italy long enough. Much talk of restructuring, of course, of the back four for Milan, with the aging stars that they have in their squad. Here's Clarence Seedorf, Serginho for Seedorf, the Dutchman again.
Well, very much as we expect from Milan, keeping the ball, great possession, and they play their normal back four with Pirlo just sitting in front at the base of the diamond, Kakha at the top of the diamond on the other side, Seedorf and Gattuso, and up front, as we have mentioned, Gilardino and the main man, Shevchenko.
Nesta's ball finds Seedorf in a little bit of space. He's got Pirlo running outside of him, but he comes inside. He's looking as if he's going to have a crack there, Clarence Seedorf. It was worth a go, well wide in the end.
Well, he's a strong player, a clever player. Has two great feet, but obviously prefers the right. And when he does come in, you know, he just whacks it. There's no real control, no measure strike with it. And he does score some wonderful goals. And we just would expect him to do better from that situation.
Corradi is a big target man. He's an obvious outlet ball for Parma. He's on a good run of goals, although he's only scored 5 times this season, 4 of those in his last 4 matches, so he had been struggling until that point. Here's Serginho now for Milan, and he's whipped a dangerous looking ball in. It's an early touch for Matteo Guardalben, who's making his debut tonight for Parma in goal. It's a swap deal from Palermo.
Well, it's a comfortable catch for him, and it's always nice for goalkeepers to get an early feel of the ball and do what they have to do well. He has done that, but the cross wasn't terrific from the Brazilian.
Free kick goes Milan's way. A little shove there by the Australian international Vince Grella, who will be playing at the World Cup, as Beretta watches on. Nesta, someone else who will be playing at the World Cup, injury permitting, as will Dario Šimić. Plays more games for Croatia than he ever does for Milan.
Well, I think Cafu is a big loss, because this man Serginho and Cafu in the right and left back positions do get up the pitch very quickly. Pirlo sits in front and just forms a barrier and is always available, but they do expect their 2 fullbacks to get forward. Šimić isn't just as comfortable doing that, more of a defensive fullback.
It's his ball inside to Gattuso. Pirlo for Serginho. Dragged back by the Brazilian. Pirlo comfortable on the ball as ever, and Seedorf has pulled wide, and he's attempted to take on the last defender there, and for the second time this evening the cross has let down Clarence Seedorf.
Well, he's done quite well. No defender likes to be run at, and Seedorf does so well when he gets there. Great control, first touch allows him to do this, but when he gets into this position, that's where he lets himself down. You've got to put in a measured cross, especially for people like Gilardino or Shevchenko, who they absolutely thrive in good crosses.
Jorge Bolaño's ball forward. That's collected by Marchioni. It's good persistence from the Parma player, and then the foul from Corradi is pulled up. Nesta, the man, tripped.
Well, looking at Parma, they have started off as we expected with the 4 at the back, 3 in the middle of the park, 2 just in front of them, and Corradi the lone striker. But I think they'll be forced into a 4-5-1 purely because Milan will have so much of the ball.
Collected by Pirlo. Thinks about the shot at goal, and instead he plays in Seedorf. And Serginho takes it on himself. The Brazilian is in a good position, and the cross didn't match it, but they can keep the ball alive here. Pirlo swinging it in, and it's overhit by him. The final delivery from Milan has let them down in the first 5 minutes.
Well, most of the threat coming down. This is Gattuso who put in the final cross, which wasn't terrific, but Serginho does terrific here. Gets to a lovely position, and then he just puts in a dreadful cross. When Gattuso does pick it up, this is good by Gattuso. Following play, but then his cross is poor, so they've got themselves in a good position. The final ball must simply be better.
Scoring goals rarely proves to be a problem for Milan. They've scored in every game they've played this season in Serie A. Keeping them out has been a problem with the aging defence, coming under more and more criticism. Seedorf, we've seen plenty of the ball so far. And again, that's no threat as the ball is played in. Guardalben will be quite happy to see that kind of thing happen all evening.
Well, I thought it was a poor cross once again. He was trying to force the issue. Sometimes you've got to take an extra pass. Shevchenko seemed to think it was the right idea, and Seedorf also believed that was the right pass, but the execution wasn't good again.
Although we are already 6 minutes in, and Mario Beretta won't be particularly comfortable, I guess, with the amount of possession his side's conceded, though they're on the ball now. And Marchioni can swing in a dangerous-looking ball, and it has to be dealt with by Dario Šimić. That was the best cross we've seen this evening.
Fabulous cross. Just in behind the back 4. Ask questions of the keeper. Does he come? Does he catch? He's caught on his heels. Indecision. Šimić, great defending. Made it very simple. Just knocked the ball out of play and regroup.
Good defending by Šimić. They've got bags of experience even in their reserves. As a rule, Milan. Corradi is an obvious target at the near post. The referee is not happy with the amount of pushing and shoving that's going on in the middle.
Is there enough players in that box? I'll tell you what, to try and decide who's pushing who would be very hard for a referee.
Indeed, is a big enough man to get through the melee. It's swung in, and it's a fairly comfortable catch for the big man.
Well, you believe that Parma are going to have a tough test tonight, and I think set pieces are going to be absolutely crucial for them. They have got good headers off the ball, so they've got to put in good service.
Pirlo's long ball forward, and it wasn't a bad one. It wasn't too far ahead of Gilardino. Kakha collects it, and he drifts past a couple of challenges, and he's running strong now, the Brazilian. It's good work by Simplício, who tracked him back. Šimić to Gattuso. Kaladze. They're allowed to cross over halfway unimpeded. The home side. Pirlo has it again, and it's Dario Šimić who collects it. Pirlo's got a very good scoring record against Parma. Scored 3 goals against them in 2 seasons. It's a dangerous flick on and a link up, and Shevchenko's shot comes back off the defender. There's a flash of danger for Parma. Is there another one here as Seedorf plays it in, and it's got to be dealt with? It was knocked behind by Paolo Cannavaro.
Yeah, better play from Milan, wasn't it? Terrific cross in. You can see Shevchenko. I thought he should have been maybe closer on the full-back to put him under pressure, but before that, he had the silkiest of touches through to Gilardino and then shot and was blocked. Good play from Milan.
Pirlo has it from the quickly taken corner. That's not the most convincing of clearances. Eventually it's bundled away. They'll keep it going though. Seedorf in possession. Thinking about a shot at goal against Seedorf. It's been deflected quite nicely in the end for Milan, and Pirlo helped on into the danger area once more. Gilardino's cross. It's going to break nicely, and then Shevchenko in the middle. Well, they're appealing for offside. Shevchenko thinks he's missed a good chance.
Well, I think he has as well. The shot wasn't struck so well, but Shevchenko there, if he was onside, we were just looking to see, he does come from an onside position, and that's just a huge miss for a man of his standing. The ball popping about, there was complaints about a handball. I don't think it was right. I think the referee was absolutely spot on, but Milan are having so much pressure, but that was a huge chance for Shevchenko.
Free kick goes Milan's way again. You've got to think that Parma have got to find some way of stemming the tide of pressure that they're facing.
Well, what you said was they're actually conceding one half and saying to Milan, we're going to defend our half of the park. If you get through is great. If you don't, it's going to be very, very difficult, and we're going to play on the break. So when you get all that number of players congested in one half of the park, it's going to be hard for Milan, and that's why the first goal is going to be crucial.
Ancelotti looks the same as he always looks. Rain or shine, pressure or glory days.
I think he's done a terrific job, and he has signed important players. I know it's a team effort when he signs people, but he must put his stamp on them, and he does a good job that way.
So, rather belated decision from Mr. Mazzolini.
I think he did well there. He really allowed play to carry on to see what was going to take place. He has spotted it, and I think that's good refereeing.
It was Grella who blocked off the run of Serginho. So Milan have a free kick. Pirlo is standing over it. Gilardino would love to get the chance to celebrate or not against Parma. It's been worked to Serginho. He's done well to get away from the defender. Serginho in a dangerous position, and he drills his cross.
Well, we said that some of the crosses early on were bad. That was simply dreadful. And Serginho was done brilliant to get that position. He was locked against the line. He did wonderfully well to get turned, get to that position. Lots of Milan shirts in the box, so you've got to pick someone out. And he just thumped it into the far post, and there was no one there. Poor cross.
It's like he was inside his own penalty area, the weight he put on it. Here's Dario Šimić. But the tide continues, and it's a red and black tide. All the action is going in one direction. Bolaño gets a touch. Simplício, we've hardly seen him in possession of the ball. The referee blows his whistle again. This time it's a Parma free kick.
Well, they just simply need to keep the ball at the moment. It has been relentless from the first whistle, the Milan pressure. So now Parma need to get the ball down, pass, just keep it, give themselves a little bit of confidence, buy a little bit of time.
Here's Bolaño, the Colombian. And the arms are raised as Corradi turns and makes his run forward. He is indeed offside.
Well, it's a good line from Milan. You can see it right along there, the back four. And that is that work has been done in the training ground. I always like to see a back four working in harmony, and Corradi just needs to be clever. Certainly is not the quickest of players, but he has to stay onside.
His contract is still owned by Valencia. He went there from Lazio. They're often fairly complicated, the ownership rules of some of the Italian players. He's doing a bit of niggling there, and Gattuso's not happy.
Well, he is a warrior, Gattuso, and I think they're pals, him and Corradi, but from there you can see Corradi's just trying to work to get the ball, and how often do we see Gattuso doing that, biting people's ankles? And for just to stop like that, I'm not sure.
Pirlo with the ball in, it's collected by Seedorf, and he cracks a goal. It was another good opportunity for Milan, and once again it goes wide.
But it was great play from Seedorf. He really does well to follow the play through here. Great chest control. Was it a deflection? I'm not altogether sure. He really hit it with power. He just needed that little bit of accuracy.
It was Paolo Cannavaro who was charging him down. Offside flag is up again, as Marchioni threatened to go away. There is always the danger, of course, to Milan, who aren't the quickest at the back, of being caught out like that. Obviously, Parma have to be a little bit cleverer than they've been so far.
Well, the plans have been drawn up before the game, and you can see that. Parma realise it's going to be a tough task, and it's very much the format that I said, 4-5-1, and they're Corradi's really starting off in the middle of the park.
It's one for Bresciano to chase over the top. Dario Šimić has come a long way across to help out the defending, and Serginho has bought his side a goal kick there. Or is it a corner? Is he?
Well, in
a dispute between the assistant and the referee. Well,
I think it was the assistant. He immediately flagged for a by ball. Well, from that shot, it appears as if it's definitely a corner kick.
It was a strange bit of play. Marchioni will take the corner. Defended near post by Seedorf. The shot's deflected up, and it's going to break nicely for Marchioni. And Dida had to make the save. Well, he'd been left in space there, the winger who'd taken the corner, and they were almost caught out there, Milan. But instead they could come away. Kakha in possession. Good challenge by Bolaño.
Well, a warning for Milan. They got a little bit fortunate, Parma. There was a ricochet, the ball fell kindly, but the big Brazilian Dida, wonderful save. He had to stand big, and he did just that, got a hand to it and stopped it from going in. Well, that's poor from Milan. 2 or 3 players stopped altogether, and you can't do that. You've got to follow the play, you've got to stay with the ball, and you've got to wait until it's cleared. Great save.
And credit as well to Marco Marchioni for the way he took it down, because it was coming from a terrific height. He's a highly rated player, out of contract this coming summer, and they're desperately trying to sign him on again. But he seems reluctant, understandably so, with Parma's current predicament. Here's Kakha with the cross. Easy catch for the keeper.
Kakha, and I like him, he's a wonderful talent. He's been very quiet tonight. We've seen one run from him where he was closed down, but he needs to get more involved with the ball, because they depend so much on his runs, picking the ball up from Pirlo and then passing it through.
Offside flag is raised again. Marchioni threatening to get in behind Serginho. Was it Corradi who was offside in the middle, or was it a shove that the referee has seen on Kaladze?
Well, Kaladze's not the strongest of players in the air. Nesta's, I think, a stronger player. And Corradi seems to be pushing on to Kaladze to try and give him the problem when the ball's played in.
Being linked with a whole list of players at the moment. Shevchenko tries to get in behind the Parma defence. He's fouled Cannavaro. Doesn't agree with the decision, but the likes of Nigel de Jong of Ajax has been linked. Odo of Lazio, someone you're not entirely convinced about, and O'Brien as a defensive player.
No, I'm just looking at this incident here. I think the official on the line gave the decision. I think he was wrong. Shevchenko was strong, physically strong, and on that occasion he was just slightly more determined than the Parma defender to get it.
Free kick goes the way of the visitors. The side in the relegation zone only kept their Serie A status last season by the skin of their teeth. They were a wealthy club many years ago. Well, actually not that many years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Parma. And then the collapse of Parmalat, which was their parent company, plunged them into a financial crisis that's led to them selling players. But as I say, Gilardino's departure here to the San Siro helped them out a lot last summer. Bresciano with the free kick now. It's a good header away. And then a big up and under again.
Yeah, you spoke about Parma, and I'm very disappointed for them as a club. I spent some time there, and they are a really neat club and lovely training facilities, and they did go through a wonderful period. They were in Europe developing young players, and Cannavaro was there, Thuram was there, Buffon was there. They had a vast array of talent, and it is sad to see them languishing at the bottom of the league.
Shevchenko attacking now for Milan. It's held up well by Grella, although concedes a free kick there, the Australian international. Beretta's not convinced.
Well, I do think there was contact, but Garella's one of those players. He does bite your ankles, a bit like Gattuso. And if he gets it right, it's a great challenge. If he doesn't, then he brings him down, gives away free kicks. They've got to be careful for Pirlo. He is one player who can really take advantage of this situation.
And he's got Serginho lurking again. They have to be aware of that two-man wall, or he could go straight into the penalty area. Andrea Pirlo. That's what he did. Wasn't the best. Nesta plays it back in again. It's good interception by Marchioni, but then he's played a poor ball. And Kaladze can find Kakha. A slice clearance, and it just keeps the pressure on Parma.
Well, they just feel a goal is imminent, but they just look back at that one chance that Shevchenko had, and that could prove costly.
Once again, Parma completely withdraw into their own half. Pirlo takes over from Seedorf. Serginho gets another chance. Now Pirlo with the cross, and it's flicked on dangerously by, well, it was by Gilardino towards Shevchenko. They were appealing for all sorts, but the chance has gone wide.
Well, it's a good cross in. Gilardino does brilliant. He gets in front of the defender, just gets a glancing header on it. I thought Shevchenko was going to pick it up. Keeper nowhere. And it's been deflected for a corner.
It could just come off the defender's head. Here comes the corner. Corradi heads it high up in the air. Bresciano tries to complete the clearance. It's a clearance of sorts. Lovely bit of skill by Pirlo. He finds Seedorf. Jinks past the challenge. Kakha thinks about going for goal. Instead he gives it to Šimić, who crosses. Cannavaro doesn't really get much on that. It's Grella who clears it away. And that's where Corradi is a decent target man, but he's lost out again to Milan. Just turn and come forward again. Shevchenko with the layoff. Wants it again. Looks at the referee, who's not interested in giving a free kick in that situation.
Well, there's simply nowhere for him to run.
A seize on by Marchioni. He's going to run at the Milan defence, but there are plenty of defenders back. And then, well, they tried something clever, but they just really didn't have enough black and white shirts forward there to threaten.
Well, that was the problem. They're defending so deep and with so many numbers that when the ball does break, and it breaks quickly as it did, Marchioni played the ball in. Corradi headed the ball back, hoping there was going to be a support player, but he just didn't have time to get up there.
Shevchenko, who dropped deep, and he's found Kakha. Seedorf, good movement from him. Tries to give it to Kakha again, but he hadn't read it. Jorge Bolaño had. Two South Americans for Parma almost collided there, but they just about got away with it. And now Matteo Contini, who's a Milan youth product many years ago. He made the clearance. Now Simplício, the Brazilian. Bresciano. Bolaño wants it. He's done quite well there to work it into Contini in space. Simplício tries to drill the crossing. Kaladze has got to deal with it. It's a corner.
Well, lacking in concentration on that occasion, Kaladze. Under no real pressure, simple cross in. Should have dealt with it much better.
A little bit of a chance for Mario Beretta's team. Once again, they pile the bodies inside the goalkeeper's area, right on top of Dida, and it's whipped in, and he's dropped it, and it's turned in. What an extraordinary bit of goalkeeping, and it's Paolo Cannavaro who simply can't believe that he scored the easiest goal of his life.
Well, it's a crazy game, and Dida many years ago did make simple mistakes, and I do think he's a wonderful goalkeeper. On that occasion, under no pressure at all, very similar to the first corner kick that came in. Just go, catch. He didn't do it. And actually, you see one or two Milan players turning away, thinking he has the ball in his hands. Well, Cannavaro, he ever score an easier goal, an important goal. Milan now have got a bit of work to do.
Well, that's just extraordinary. There was no explanation, no excuse.
Well, no, that happens, unfortunately, for goalkeepers when they make an error like that. It's a goal against. It's as simple as that. Outfield players can make many mistakes and get away with it, but unfortunately, the Brazilian has paid the price.
And he might have some more work to do. Ball was whipped in. And Parma are enjoying themselves in San Siro. They've got it again. Marchioni headed away. Still plenty of time, of course, for Milan in this game.
Well, I think that's the only consolation. Seedorf, we see getting the free kick for Dida, that it was given away so early on in the game. Still 3/4 of the game to play, so they can work their way into it, but certainly that will do Parma no harm at all. Certainly lift their confidence.
Kakha breaking forward. Simplício, he left it. Clearance was eventually made, though. Brasciano. Corradi fouling Kaladze, whose corner led to the goal he scored. I'm sure that's not football that we're watching there.
No, it's a Twickenham tackle, that, isn't it? Or Lansdowne Road, one or the other.
Pirlo with the chip forward. Gilardino with the chest on to Shevchenko. And Simplício's slip has given Milan possession again. Pirlo to Kakha. Backing in with the Italian international. Serginho to his countrymate Kakha. Now Seedorf. Seedorf again. And now Kakha dancing around inside the penalty area, and it's turned into his own goal. The skipper has scored the own goal, Giuseppe Cardone, and they weren't in front for long, Parma. It's an unfortunate way to concede, but Kakha made it. A dangerous run inside the penalty area, and Milan are back on level terms.
Well, I think Dida, we saw a shot of him there with the most relieved man on the pitch, but it was good play by Kakha. Seedorf involved once again. Poor marking, I've got to say. And that's a great cross. He just whips it in. You can see Gilardino, Shevchenko behind him. They were there waiting, but unfortunately for the Parma skipper, he had to try and get something on it, and deflected it. Couto there, can't believe it. And I think that was unfortunate for Parma. They needed to keep that lead to stand any chance of winning this game.
To play a lot better, of course, this scoreline, because Milan have been, I don't know if dominance is too strong a word, they have in terms of possession, although Parma have had a couple of chances.
I think they have dominated the game totally, and Parma just simply playing on the break, but well, that does bring the scoreline a little bit more into keeping.
Marchioni's corner. Seedorf is able to make a fairly comfortable clearance. Launch forward again, and this time Marchioni is, well, first of all, he's offside, and secondly, they did leave someone into marking this time.
Well, again, a good back line, you've got to say, from Milan. Seedorf was forced into the left back position. Here's another little chance.
And it's Shevchenko, he's got Gilardino in the middle, and Gilardino has got the goal against Parma. His 12th of the Serie A season for Milan. After scoring so prolifically for Parma over the last couple of seasons, he's now scored against them, and they've turned this round in double quick time.
Yeah, it's a fabulous goal, really. But the little chip into the box was magnificent. Shevchenko, the player involved, beautifully weighted, outside of the foot. This was a terrific pass. Great movement from Shevchenko. Has a little look up, glances the ball in. Brave from Gilardino, keeper coming out on him. Just had to make contact, and he will be mightily relieved now. Lovely skill, that, you know, when you watch it up close. And just a great invitation for Gilardino to knock the ball in the back of the net against his former club. Yes, it's a big moment for him.
Well, it seems as though going behind to a dreadfully conceded goal was was just what Milan needed.
Well, I think they played very well. They have dominated the game totally. And just in the early stages, it's so much possession, and they just simply didn't pick out the right pass. And I think the simplicity of the first goal, just get to the byline and whip it in, it resulted in a goal. And of course, the second one I thought was a fabulous move, fabulous run from this man Shevchenko, and his little dink into the box was perfect.
They've got themselves another free kick. Jorge Bolaño, the man penalised. Parma need to hold on now. They were trying to hold on to a lead just a couple of minutes ago. Kakha. Pirlo's first-time ball is exquisite, as you would expect, and this is another dangerous break. It's Serginho. It's kept in. No, it's not. It is a corner. Serginho thought he'd managed to knock it back into play, but they'll settle for a corner, Milan.
Well, you see Shevchenko's asking for a different service in. I can understand that. A very nonchalant pass back out there, but the ball is clearly over the line.
Corner is taken. It wasn't a bad one. Gattuso. Pirlo has it again. He just pings those balls seemingly at will. Serginho this time with the early delivery towards Shevchenko. It's Fernando Couto who heads the ball away. Shevchenko pulls wide this time. Contini's the defender. Little nonchalant ball inside. Established pictures that you may have lost just for a second or two. Didn't miss anything significant. Missed a free kick being won by Parma.
Well, I think the referee got that wrong again. The only thing you can give it for is studs showing, but I don't know how you can tackle any other way. It was along the ground. Gattuso was very good at that, and he kept his eye on the ball and made contact with the ball.
It's Fernando Couto, over a century of caps for Portugal. Given away again by Bolaño.
Yeah, you fear for Parma a little bit at the moment, well, from the very start actually. And now that Milan are in front, they can play more controlled football, and this guy's got a lot of problems, a lot of talking to do at half-time, and a difficult situation.
Kakha could become more difficult. Kakha inside the penalty area. Fernando Couto was in the right place to clear, but they haven't cleared it far. Šimić keeps it going for Milan. And again, the cross was disappointing from Dario Šimić. Apologies if you're having one or two problems with the service. The picture's being interrupted. As I say, you haven't missed any significant action. Kakha Kaladze, who's getting a run in the Milan back four. He's been around a long time and never really established himself. He plays left back sometimes. He's getting a run at centre back with Maldini's absence and Stamp's absence as well.
Well, I think the key is Serginho in the left back position, and Šimić is just getting the run also because Cafu's out. And it's just the way they play Milan. They expect the fullbacks to get forward. They expect them to have good talent and put in good crosses.
Here's Seedorf. He's been allowed to run an awful long way to the very edge of the penalty area. And then it was pulled back, and Pirlo had the crack at goal.
Well, it's a fantastic pass back. He struck it with great power, not the normal accuracy, because he's the sweetest of headers of the ball.
Parma got themselves a draw in their last away game against Siena, 2-2. Before that, they'd lost 8 in a row away. They're not doing very well away. Shevchenko. He hits the ground, the referee waves him back into his feet. It's a big call for the young referee to make, but he's made it confidently. No complaints from Shevchenko.
Well, I think Shevchenko knows he's been caught on. The referee has made a great decision, and Parma immediately on the attack. But I thought Shevchenko did it wrong because his first control was brilliant, and he should have just lifted back his leg. He's a wonderful striker of the ball, coming in the on that side, a strong right side, and I think he would have scored from there. He just took one touch too many.
Pirlo. And now Gattuso. Šimić again. Serginho and Kakha. They're allowed to make up an awful lot of ground again, Milan. The return ball was intended for Kakha, I'm sure. Didn't reach him. Vince Grella intercepted. Kaladze was in strongly there ahead of Corradi. Serginho is chopped down by Grella.
I think Kaladze has done quite well. Jorginho is getting an awful lot of the ball tonight. Well, there you can see it, and Couto was the player involved. Well, was there contact? I think there was. There was a hanging leg, and once you hang your leg out like that, if it does make contact, you're in a vulnerable position. Maybe Shevchenko had a shout.
I do think it's one of those, Brian, where the contact wasn't sufficient to knock Shevchenko to the ground, and so, you know, putting it kindly, we say he's made the most of it.
Well, I get disappointed with players, and Shevchenko's a wonderful player, very strong, very physical, and I don't think he needed to be placed in that position. I think if he had done it differently, Milan would have been 3-1 up.
Now Seedorf. They still have a very good chance of going 3-1 up. Shevchenko's inside the penalty area, tries the curler, and it's broken nicely, and now it is 3-1. It's drilled into the back of the net by Kakha. And Milan are running riot here. Parma are on the back foot. They've scored 3 in quick succession.
Well, I think you're being kind to Parma. I don't think they're on the back foot. I think they're sitting on their butts, really, because quite honestly, they can't stop this Milan advance. The passing's brilliant. They're just standing waiting. They've got a good ricochet. Kakha, controlled shot, bottom left-hand corner. Keeper not really any chance at all. And he almost passes the ball into the back of the net. But I do fear for Parma. Their spirits seem low. They just seem as if they're on their heels. And they can't come to terms. They can't keep the ball. And Milan just have so much possession. And you just wonder how many goals they're going to score tonight.
Well, the last Milan game I commentated on, they scored 5 here on Setanta Sports. I tell you what, Brian, this is why Juve may well be the team for the purists. And obviously the league table tells you they're better than Milan, but this is why, as a neutral, you like to watch Milan.
Well, I always love watching them. I think they're a very attractive side. They have a nice balance. Shevchenko's an important player, and I think this man Pirlo makes him sing, dance, do everything. He's always on the ball. Kakhar's another player. The rotation of the players is terrific, and they love playing the game from the back. I do think they're a wonderful side, and for me, Maldini, and over many years I was asked one of the, you know, who's my favourite defender in the world, and Maldini was always, well, he was always up there.
So the good news is that we're back in Serie A next weekend with Milan's trip to the Stadio Olimpico. That was the effort from Shevchenko that was deflected Kakha's way.
What I like about him here is his composure. He's a young player, and he just kept calm. He just passed the ball the inside of his foot, give the keeper simply no chance at all. And great for young players to watch and learn, because how you deal with situations when you have time and space is so important.
His last goal for Milan, incidentally, was in the 5 goals that they scored against Udinese here on Setanta Sports. Offside flag again.
Well, the player I'm most pleased for is Dida, because I do like him as a goalkeeper, and well, you can clearly see on that occasion there's an offside, and they're not working hard enough, Parma, to stay onside. But for Dida, I'm pleased that Milan have come back for it. That would have been quite disappointing for him if that had been the only goal in the game.
The referee's taken out his notepad here. For the first time, we'll see which of the Parma players is in trouble for the foul on Kakha. A couple of them have been pushing their luck. Is it Jorge Bolaño? If it is, it means he's facing a suspension. He likes a yellow card. He picks up his fair share. If it was him, it means he's out for a one-match ban. Seedorf on the end of that, but he can't get it down. He tried to take it right-footed.
Well, it's his strongest foot. He's a wonderful touch on the ball. And, well, I think this guy is the man with the biggest problems in the whole of the San Siro.
He looks like he's been in a fight, doesn't he?
Well, he's lots of style, lots of class, but this man, he's very composed, very calm, and Ancelotti's seen it all before.
Serginho again. They've certainly attacked down their left flank a lot in this game.
Well, it's basically because Serginho is more comfortable. Shevchenko is always looking for crosses, and I think Šimić is a good player, but mainly a defensive fullback, and really they don't come down that side as often.
And onside here. Marchioni in a promising position, and there wasn't. I think when he looked up, you know, I don't think there was a single white shirt inside the penalty area.
Well, it was too long of a pass, and they're defending so deep in their own half. The midfield players who are trying to get up to support Corradi can't simply get there.
And now Šimić with a chance to impress. Well, he's left it, and then Pirlo. We can almost say trademark ball of his out to Seedorf, who takes on the full-back again, and he tries to find Shevchenko, who hit it down into the ground.
Well, Shevchenko trying for his goal. Terrific cross, wonderful cross. I just think he needs to knock this back across the goal. He simply can't score from that position. He's just got to punch it back in, either with his head or with his foot. It did get a deflection, and well, that's what he's appealing for.
You can see why he's disappointed. The stats, 8 shots from Milan. Well, we said early on when Parma were hanging on that they had to do something to turn the tide of pressure, and they simply haven't been able to, even being gifted a goal the way they were.
Well, they're just simply not in the same class, and this is part of the problem, of course, that Juventus have opened up a gap, and you believe that they're ahead of everybody else, and the next two after that are way ahead of everybody after that in the field.
Shevchenko trying to make the gap tonight even bigger.
Well, he'll be desperate for a goal because he just loves scoring, the Ukrainian, and he sees tonight an opportunity to boost his numbers.
And he's being outscored, at least domestically, by Gilardino. He's got the 4 against Fenerbahce, 5 in the 2 games, which means that Shevchenko is overall top scorer.
Well, of course, this has been part of the problem with Christian Vieri coming to the club, that these two have been so formidable, and we know Vieri's strong in the air, but Gilardino and Shevchenko are equally strong when the ball comes into that department.
And of course Filippo Inzaghi fit again, and he's had some good appearances since he's been back, so Vieri is very much 4th choice, which is why he wants to go in World Cup year. Now Seedorf with another ball into the penalty area. Lost count of how many of those there have been, of variable quality. Serginho to Gattuso. They're dropping deeper and deeper, it seems, Parma. Milan playing their football almost halfway inside the opposition half. Now Serginho, cross is deflected. Bresciano, who scored a famous goal for Australia against Uruguay, helped get them to the World Cup finals. Marchioni's done well, turned away from the challenge, and he's found Simplício. Bresciano scrapping edge of the penalty area, scrapping too hard though.
Well, as we approach half-time, you feel a little bit sorry for Parma because they've simply been outclassed, and they've done the best they can do. They've got good shape. They've tried to defend in their own half. That's the tactics. It simply hasn't worked. Milan have been excellent with their possession, with their passing. Should have scored more goals, and you just wonder what Beretta's going to say at half-time. He can only offer encouragement. He can't really change the shape of his side. He can't really improve it with the players on the bench. So it's going to be a tough game, but Ancelotti, he'll be delighted. His team have played well. Yes, they've given away a poor goal, but that happens, and they've fought with great spirit to get back in. Their passing's wonderful, and if they can improve in the final third with the final ball in, they can score a lot of goals tonight.
Shevchenko tries to get on the end of that, chipped forward by Pirlo. It's been a very tough baptism for Matteo Guardalben, the keeper tonight for Parma. Just come to the club from Palermo. Gattuso sniffing in there and conceding another free kick. This time he doesn't really have an argument. Cannavaro goes stumbling past a couple of challenges, doesn't get far. He's normally a central defender. He's the player who's switched out to right back.
He's the goal scorer.
He is indeed. And brother, of course, of the Italian national skipper and Juve star, who would have been delighted to see his brother score for more than one reason. And with precisely no injury time at the end of the first half, the referee calls a halt to proceedings, and it's been another highly entertaining first 45 minutes of football. Shevchenko, one of the players who didn't get a goal so far in this game. Parma took a shot lead through Cannavaro, but then Milan roared back in. An own goal by Cardone. Gilardino got one as well. Kakha with a controlled finish. It has been an awesome first half performance by Milan, and we'll have the best of the action from yesterday's action involving Juventus after the break. But half-time here in the San Siro, and it's Milan 3, Parma 1.
Away from the corner, has a good ball in, and a score by Hudson!
Fantastic moment for Celtic, and how well they deserve it.
That's a wonderful strike by Alan Johnson. Celtic party rocks!
Get inside the heart of your club. For more information or to subscribe, call 08700 85 1888.
Please welcome Rangers Football Club.
Are you ready for the quest for 52? Here on Rangers TV, we'll be here to bring you every game, every goal, every kick of the ball. Tune in to Ibrox Uncovered to get all the latest news, views and interviews. We'll be on hand to preview all the big matches at home and abroad, and to bring you all the reaction that counts. Watch the young guns come through as we give you exclusive access to the Rangers reserves and youth teams. Relive the glory days with classic matches and interviews. Get up close and personal with the players as we find out what makes them tick. Rangers TV, the only place to see all the Rangers SPL games this season. The last SPL campaign gave us an unforgettable championship win. This year, we're on the quest for 52. Are you ready? Your club, your channel, Rangers TV, the channel of the champions.
Bring the drama, passion, skill and action of football on Setanta Sports to your business and get your name in front of hundreds of thousands of our sports-minded viewers. We've got advertising packages tailored to suit your business needs. So to advertise on Setanta, simply call 0207 287 3388. Put your company into a winning position. Call 0207 287 3388.
Well, they've been quite excellent. Their passing's been wonderful, and I think they're a team playing with great confidence. Every player wants to get on the ball, but as you say, they are prone to making a mistake, and they have been punished. And I think that tonight you've seen really what Milan have been about in the first half of the season.
The Giuseppe Meazza Stadium holds at 85,000. We're used to seeing plenty of empty seats in stands. It's actually not actually a bad turnout. Sometimes, again, if you see Juventus at the Delle Alpi, there are a lot more empty seats in the stands than that. It's called the San Siro, which is what the fans still prefer to know it as, although it was officially renamed after Meazza, who was an Inter player primarily, and he played for Italy in the 1934 World Cup that they won. Famous figure from the past of Italian football, and the Italians are off to the World Cup as well, and a few of the players that you're watching tonight will be hoping to make an impact. The likes of Gilardino got his 12th goal of the Serie A campaign. He's certainly one of the candidates, as is Paolo Cannavaro's brother. Unfortunately, I don't think that the Parma man is. Looking down their list, well, the Aussies will be going to the World Cup, injury permitting. And on the bench tonight they do have Daniele Bonera, but they don't have too many options on the bench. That's what you'd say about Parma. A couple of experienced defenders, but their offensive players are generally teenagers.
Well, I think this is the problem in modern football. The big clubs have got squads of 24 players, all world-class players, and the lesser clubs don't have that facility. And when cups come up, or competitions come up, or injuries come up, then the lesser clubs have a big problem. Where the senior clubs, the more, the rich clubs, they seem to be able to fit in an international player when one steps out.
Well, we saw Paolo Maldini there, didn't we, in his civvies walking out of the tunnel. He's back in training. Shouldn't be too far away from returning to the side, which is always nice to have. Cafu's out injured as well. Cafu could be off to play in Brazil from next season. There's Beretta. He's had quite a half-time team talk to make.
Well, I think they knew it was going to be tough from the outset, and the players aren't foolish. They know that the Milan side are a quality side, and they felt it was tough at the start of the game. Well, it's especially tough now, for they've given them a 2-goal start, and the second half is going to be very similar to what the first half was all about. Good defending from Parma and Ancelotti's side. They'll have a lot of possession. Can they turn that possession into goals?
I think the bet would be on yes, the way that the game has gone so far. Ancelotti, well, I said when they were behind, his expression rarely changes, and since they've turned it around, his face doesn't tell you anything at all. Hangdog face. He's a former Parma coach, had a couple of years in the 90s in charge. In fact, led a side to victory here. Mario Stanic with the goal. That was the last time that Parma won against Milan in the San Siro Stadium. They won here in '93 with a goal from Tino Asprilla, which is a name from the past. Brian, a highly entertaining player. They were a top side, won the UEFA Cup, won the Italian Cup as well. Never managed to win a Serie A in their heyday, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, Asprilla was quite an interesting player. Didn't he spend some time at Newcastle?
He did, yeah. I remember him signing and going there in the snow in this huge fur coat that he thought might keep him warm. Had a mixed spell there. Bolaño with a touch. Parma in the white and black shirts, attacking from right to left on the screens. Serginho, well, his touch was good, but it wasn't well thought out, because Bresciano was able to get it back again.
I think this is one of the problems Parma have. They give the ball away too cheaply. I think even if they just keep possession for a period of time, it might give them some confidence and they can work their way into the game, but they're trying to force the issue and knock the ball up very early. They've only got Corradi up there. They haven't got the support, and immediately Milan get the ball, and well, we know what they can do, strut their stuff.
They're such a natural attacking side, Milan, that they, in this circumstance, you would expect them to go for the jugular, not to sit back and take a 3-1. They're better going forward than defending, so they might as well do that. Seedorf gets it back again. crowded out on the edge of the penalty area.
Well, actually, Parma have made a little change. They're playing 4 at the back, 4 in the middle of the park, and they're trying to push Marchionni up along with Corradi to try and give them a more attacking flair.
And the 2 link up, and it's Bresciano goes to ground. And Milan can come away with Kakha in possession. Now Pirlo, he's got Seedorf racing ahead of him. He tries to slip the ball through towards Gilardino. Offside flag is raised against the former Parma man.
Yeah, Couto does well there. He just steps out as the ball's about to be played and leaves Gilardino offside.
Got a couple of players away at the African Cup of Nations, or preparing for the African Cup of Nations. It doesn't start for a little while yet. Parma. But then, as they always say, you know, the African Cup of Nations exists when you sign players from Africa. And if they're any good, they're going to be playing there. Pirlo invites Dario Šimić to come forward. Seedorf operating on the right for the time being. It's a dangerous looking ball from the Dutchman, and it had to be knocked behind by Cannavaro.
Yeah, it's good defending. That's all he had to do, because there was too many Milan players up there. Fabulous cross from Seedorf. He really didn't deserve to get the ball in from that position, but he did.
The corner's been taken and it's swung in, and well, the referee, I don't think, has given a free kick there against Gilardino, who's battling away with Cardone to get the header in.
Well, Gilardino does quite well. He tries to get in front. He does get quite a good part of his head on it. He just skims off his forehead. Didn't really make the contact he wanted. But there's so much pulling and pushing. Referees have got a tough job on.
Decision goes against Marchionni. He's got a couple of caps for Italy. He's hoping to add to that, of course, and that's why a move to one of the bigger clubs would certainly help him. Gattuso and Seedorf. Pirlo always so comfortable in possession. He's not a holding midfielder player in the sense of the tough tackling midfield general. He's a cultured player.
I think Gilardino is the player who's changed more than anybody from the start of the season. I thought when he came into the team, even though he had scored goals from Parma, here's a little chance.
And it's Marchionni coming forward. Kaladze is the defender. He has got a couple of white shirts to aim at if he can get the cross in. Simplício was the first target, half cleared. And then it was Vince Grella who seized on that one. He doesn't score many goals, you can see why.
Well, I don't know what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to chip the keeper, but certainly wouldn't get over 6'5" data from there. There's Vieira, not looking very happy, is he?
There's not rumours of him moving possibly to Spain or maybe to the English Premiership. Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle linked, but then they're linked with everybody.
Well, I think he'd be a good player in England because he is big, he is strong, and he does hold the ball up very well. Well, he has a habit of scoring goals.
Well, here Shevchenko also has a habit of scoring goals, and he's trying to make one. Bolaño and Simplício combined to get the clearance made.
Yeah, Shevchenko did brilliant there. Not really accustomed to playing on that left-hand side, but he took it so well. Good balance, trying to pick out the right pass.
Now Serginho runs into trouble. Referee tells him to get up and get on with it. It's been a tough night for Corradi so far. Whenever we've mentioned him, it's almost been in the context of him being isolated and not able to really affect the play. You've got to see something of the ball as a striker.
Well, it's soul destroying really. He's like the Lone Ranger up there, and if you don't get service, you have no chance. If you don't get support play, even less.
Šimić trying to work something clever with Seedorf. who came in with the challenge. Just swept the ball out of play this time. Contini, who was a youth team player here at the San Siro, didn't make any appearances though for Milan. Simplício. It's a free kick. Gattuso isn't happy.
Well, I think he made contact with the ball. Again, the physical presence was there, but you can see, yeah, for me, he made contact with the ball. I think the referee has made another mistake. Gattuso feels hard done by. I think he's right.
Contini's cross is flicked on, and it's a diving effort. It was a good effort from the skipper, Cardone.
Well, it's a training ground one. Lots of skills, head on, gets in front. Jorginho puts a foot up. You've got to put your head there. And Milan got lucky.
And here they come on the attack again. There's Kakha's shot. Good save, well, a comfortable save for Guardalben to make. He hasn't been able to make too many saves this evening. The finishing, when they've got it on target, has been fairly clinical.
Well, regulation save, and as you say, it's been a difficult night for him also.
Corradi trying to make the challenge. Referee says play on. Bresciano takes it on. Corradi's down. I think he's going to be okay.
Well, Jorginho, I think it was a foul, and I think the referee tried to allow play to continue. And you can see Corradi not happy. Yeah, there's a studs going in. Boot raised, and that is a free kick. And the referee's, well, he's been unlucky because it was with Parma possession. And, well, it's been played in good spirit, the game, I've got to say.
Continuing in that good spirit, Parma returned the ball.
I'm just wondering if Ancelotti might throw a squad about a bit, because he knows he's got a lot of games coming up, and he might freshen it up by putting one or two players, because he's got some very experienced players on the bench.
Big game coming up in the Champions League, where they take on Bayern Munich, which was not the draw that they were looking for. Of course, the mighty Germans, like Milan, recent champions of Europe as well. Is Clarence Seedorf, who knows more than most about being a European champion. 3 different clubs. Free kick given away by Contini.
See, that's silly. Seedorf's going absolutely nowhere. You've got him pinned to the line. You don't simply go in and whack him there, because all of a sudden it's a set piece in a good position, and Milan could maybe capitalise on it.
Does seem to be a thought of changes made. Rui Costa among the subs. Pirlo will take the free kick. It's good work from the keeper.
Yeah, it's a poor free kick, but 6 yards out. Guardalben will be pleased to see it coming in that height. Good hands on that occasion. But that's a waste for me. You know, just whacking the ball up the park.
Especially without Corradi there to be on the end of it.
Well, it was only Marchione on his own, and nothing could happen from that.
Now Mark Bresciano.
That's a better service. You know, he's given the ball to feet and, you know, giving them time to get forward. That's a dreadful pass, and that's simply where Parma have been very poor. I know there hasn't been a great deal of option, and confidence is obviously not very high. But you can see the difference in class. And when a Milan player has the ball, he has 2 or 3 options on. Parma, not the same option.
Seedorf's cross, it should be comfortable again for Matteo Guardalben. They'll face a struggle to hang on to their better players, Parma, this summer, regardless of whether they manage to stay up or not. Obviously, if they go down, it's going to be more of a struggle. But in their financial situation, the likes of Marchione and of the highly rated Simplício, not that we've seen much of him this evening. Bolaño does well with the turn. Decides not to go forward, though. Contini delivers that from a very, very deep position. And Dida gets his hands wrapped around the ball and will be happy to do so. Double change on the way. Daniele Bonera was one of the players you saw there, and Daniele Dessena The Dan coming on. Bonera's had a long layoff with injury. Picked up an injury actually playing for Italy against Moldova back in October. Dessena is an 18-year-old midfield player. As we were saying, Brian, the options available to Beretta are not exactly great when it comes to changing the game, bringing on a good player at right, who is basically a right back, and a kid to play in the midfield. Well,
the risk he runs, he has to change the way he plays and maybe making more forward players available, and of course he runs the risk of a rampant Milan scoring plenty of goals, and it's a delicate line to run, and I think he has got to be careful because confidence must be very fragile at the moment, and as you've said, they've got a little run going, 3 results, and they've got to try and build on this, and anything out of the game tonight would have been a massive bonus.
Maybe an odd thing to say this, but a 3-1 and a blank second half isn't that bad for confidence, whereas losing, say, 5-1 is then a real blow moving into other games that are probably more important for Parma.
Well, I think that's right. I think there's no doubt that they came into the game tonight hoping that they could defend well and maybe get lucky, maybe get a lucky break, which they did. And you don't get, maybe you get one lucky break against a team like Milan, you don't get 2 or 3.
And again, let's hope for Beretta and for Parma that they haven't used up a big slice of luck. The changes are about to be made. Gilardino complains about the offside decision.
Very tight, wasn't it?
But right, I think.
I think so. There's very little in it, and of course you only need to see a little bit of daylight and the flag goes up, but on that occasion I'm not sure daylight was evident.
So Paolo Cannavaro has played and scored, which is good for him. But he's making way, and I think Bolaño is the other player. If I can read that board, and we'll see if he does indeed make way. Now then, we'll figure out the changes. It could well just be like for like, actually. So Bolaño goes off. As I say, Daniele Dessena is a midfield player. He's got 1 goal this season. He's played a few games of late.
Yeah, I think it's just, as you say, like for like. He's just trying to freshen it up, trying to hope that something can take place, and a little bit of inspiration from somewhere, but you're just looking to see where that inspiration is actually going to come from. I think it has to be really a lack of concentration by Milan and them taking their foot off the pedal.
PA system works in the San Siro, Brian, you'll be pleased to know.
It's a fantastic stadium, great atmosphere, and even making your way to it is, when it comes into your eye line, it's a terrific place to come and see and certainly watch a game from.
Home of the 2 Milan Cups as well. Inter as well as AC Milan.
I think the only criticism I would really have about it is it's a nightmare to get away from, and well, you can see this man, he'll not be too unhappy to be leaving it tonight.
He should get a police escort. He should be okay. Kakha just allowed the ball to run across his body there and take comfortable possession. Squeeze that cross in. Cardone had to deal with it. Simplício comfortable on the ball as well. He's done well there, the Brazilian midfielder for Parma. And Marchioni tries to find Bresciano. The Australian is able to keep this one in. To Contini, but he sold Contini a little bit short there. And now Grella tries to tee up Simplício. Back again to Grella. And they've turned Serginho around. Dessena. They did okay there, the youngster, and then the final delivery is a real letdown for Parma, because it had been quite a good move until then.
Well, it was a wee bit spirited, got numbers forward, kept possession, which was the key. And you're right, Dessena did so well to keep the ball in play and roll the ball back and allow the cross to be sent in. But Milan have a lovely shape about them. You know, the two central defenders, of course, we normally see Maldini in there. They're very comfortable dropping off. I think Nesta gets better and better. And I think Gilardino, as I said earlier on, has grown the longer the season has gone on. Goals help, of course, but he looks a more compact, competent player now.
Well, you're not given long after making a move to one of the really big Italian clubs to settle in. It was only a couple of games before he got his first goal. Here's a ball in towards Corradi. It's well defended, although Parma keep it going. They go back to the substitutes, and it's hooked away by Šimić in a dangerous position. And Dessena tried to get the shot away. It was charged down. Simplicio's won it back again. And now Bonera. Good spell from Parma.
Well, this is their best spell, and the Milan faithful are getting a little bit annoyed with their team because they're giving the ball away and not working it as well as they should. I suppose it's very hard when you're 3-1 up and really the game very comfortable for you. You've got to motivate. That's where Ancelotti comes in very strong. He has to motivate these players to keep going for the second half. Actually, a minute ago, the problem that Parma had was it was Kaladze who went into the 2-foot challenge, and they thought it should have been a free kick 25 yards out. And as I said earlier on, I think set pieces would be very, very important to Parma.
Another potential candidate, of course, to come on at some point. You would imagine that Shevchenko or Gilardino will get a breather at some point. Inzaghi would be desperately keen to play. We've already seen that Christian Vieri is sitting up with his family in the stand.
Well, I think Ancelotti will be disappointed with his team the second half, because quite honestly Parma have done okay and Milan haven't really pressed the button and really taken advantage of the situation. Again, a very close call, isn't it? Gilardino definitely offside with Shevchenko, debatable. So he might want to take one or two of these players off to send people like Inzaghi, Rui Costa on, just to inspire them, to give them the game and try and raise the tempo of the game once again.
Space now for Seedorf. Bresciano's got a long way back to defend. Pirlo, once again he chips that ball. I wonder how many times a week he practices just chipping the balls out wide. And now Serginho, and he's delivered a dangerous looking cross. Well, Seedorf attacked it, he just seemed to misjudge the flank of the ball, and he was underneath it as it came in. Gattuso. Seedorf again. Kakha's made the run in front, but it was comfortably intercepted. And now a touch for Corradi. Contini can launch a counter-attack for Parma. Kaladze did well there to win that ball in the penalty area. And then the ball is given away very sloppily by Milan, who are having a rocky spell. Dessena with the cross.
Well, it's a different Milan in the second half. There's no doubt about this. This guy's a little bit frustrated with his team, but I think the second half they've done better because they've been more compact, and on one or two occasions they've put passes together. They've got into the attacking third, and they've actually asked questions of the Milan defence. But it's a big call for them to try and get back into this game, and I would think that Ancelotti will be the next player to take part in the game. He'll make changes. He'll bring in one or two players and freshen it up, because at the moment Milan are going through a very, very ordinary period.
Seedorf now for Milan. He's going to try and take on Contini for pace. Defender stuck with him.
Well, I thought the arm was up, and I thought the official on that side had a very clear picture of it. Now you can see it, his arms and legs and everything, and I think it should have been a free kick, but Seedorf will, well, he'll not contest it too much.
Decision goes against Gilardino. Is it backing in or handball? I'm not sure. I saw the infringement there, Brian.
Well, it's a handball, and It's a bit sloppy. He's complaining to the linesman, the official on this side, but you keep your arms out of it, that's for sure. Use them for balance, but don't use them to control the ball. I think Ancelotti's the next player. I think the next manager to make a decision, because quite honestly the team at the moment need a bit of inspiration. I think they've done exceedingly well the first half. The second half have been quiet, and maybe just they need a freshen up situation.
Well, if you're a fan of Milan, you're in luck, because we feature them next Sunday evening. It's a potentially tricky tie for them. Away to Roma. Never sure which Roma will turn up. At 7:30 again next Sunday evening here on Setanta Sports. Regular coverage of the Italian Serie A Championship, of course, throughout the season on Sunday evenings. And as it unfolds as well, and when there is Wednesday action, you can see that as well. Stoppage because Marchioni is the player. Seems to have got a whack in the midriff.
I don't think it's too bad. It was a challenge that came in. I think it was Gattuso came in and just caught him. He fell over him. I think he actually, it's Gattuso's head more than anything else that hit him. He is a real battler, isn't he? And when you see a team, they're made up of many parts. And Gattuso is a very important part to Milan. He's very competitive, great spirit. And I think he, over the last 2 or 3 seasons, has become a more complete player. Playing with great players, of course, and maybe the confidence factor also.
Incidentally, if you see the close-ups of the referee and of the linesman, you ever wonder why there's a pumpkin on the shirt? It's a sponsorship deal that they've got with a financial services provider. Why their financial services provider have a pumpkin as their symbol, I don't know, but that's the explanation, and one of them often asked questions. Now here come Milan attacking with Clarence Seedorf, and they're backing away, and he slipped the ball through to Serginho, and it should be a goal for Shevchenko, but the flag has been raised. Was it Serginho early on in the move? Shevchenko's had his goal chalked off, and it stays at 3-1.
Yeah, it was Serginho. It was a great pass. Again, was there much in it? I'm not sure when the ball's played he's actually in an offside position. It's a very hard position for the official to be in. He's trying to watch when the ball's being played, and is the player just in advance? But I think on that occasion he got it wrong.
And now Parma go forward, and there is no flag this time, and it's been turned in by Marchioni, and it's 3-2, and Milan completely caught flat-footed. And out of nowhere, Parma are back in this game.
I think Milan have just taken their foot off the pedal, and I do think Ancelotti should have made changes. Is he offside? He's not. For Nesta's trying to push out. It's a good decision by the official and a good finish. Dida on that occasion, absolutely no chance. He just toe pokes it into the back of the net. Doesn't matter how you get it there, and it's a good finish. But I do think that Milan have been sort of sitting back, and they've allowed Parma to come back into the game, and they'll be delighted with his players in the second half. They have worked hard, and they have kept better possession. They've got the goal, and now we'll see, I think, a different Milan.
Well, conceding a goal sparked them into life in the first half. We'll see if it does again in the second. Well, I did say, Brian, and I think that's evidence that they're better going forward than they are defending, Milan, and they might as well keep pushing forward looking for goals, because they don't defend particularly well anymore. Here's Bresciani.
Well, the Milan supporters are quite unhappy with their team, and I can understand why. I know it's difficult when you're 3-1 up and coasting, but really they simply have got to play better, Milan, and they've got great talent and great players, and they really should have dominated the second half completely. They haven't let that happen.
And we have a game on our hands. We didn't expect this at half-time. All the talk was about how many they might score. But now it's about whether Milan can hang on for a much-needed victory. Simplício forward to Corradi.
Well, I think Serie A needs this result and Milan to get the points to keep it competitive. But I think over the season Milan have given away some sloppy points, and they've lost some points at home, which normally they don't do.
Rui Costa is stripped and ready for action. He delayed making the change. Ancelotti and his side has conceded a goal. They've played that offside line effectively a number of times, but they got it all wrong that time.
Well, it was poor. They were like a dog's hind leg, and that's what I was saying about the first half. That was very well organised, very well orchestrated, came out together. And Rui Costa's going to come on and try and put his foot in the ball and change it a little bit. I think Kakha, who is replacing, has had a quiet game, even though he scored a very good goal.
It's a change they make on a fairly regular basis. Rui Costa, who was a big money signing when he first came to the San Siro, he's had a mixed spell. Talked openly about whether he might leave or not, but decided that he couldn't play for a bigger club than Milan at this stage of his career.
Well, actually, him and Couto were part of the golden group that came through for Portugal, and they were really efficient. Kakha, I think, is a wonderful, wonderful talent. Tonight, he certainly made the first goal and scored the third goal, so he's played a part, but I just expect him to dominate the game so much because he's so gifted on the ball, and tonight the game was set up for him, and I don't think, I'm sure he could have played better.
Looks as though Ambrosini, another midfield player, is also ready to come on. He's a more straightforward midfield player, Ambrosini. Free kick goes Milan's way. Fernando Couto with the arm up against Gilardino.
Well, he's not the biggest guy in the world, Couto. Terrific spring, and he does use his body, he does use his arms, and on that occasion the referee got it absolutely right.
Pirlo's free kick, headed straight back his way. Keeps it in and has another chance to deliver slightly better. One into the penalty area. Cleared as far as Seedorf. Some good work and another dangerous ball in, and it's a glancing effort by Shevchenko over the bar.
Well, it's a miss. I'm a huge fan of his, and that's 2 goals he should have scored tonight. Yes, he's getting pushed in the back, but you've got to withstand that. You've got to make yourself big. You've got to make yourself strong. He's absolutely right. There was an elbow on his back, but I just expect him to knock that ball in the bottom right-hand corner, just back where it's come from, and that was a chance gone.
And here's Gilardino, who is making way for Ambrosini. It's an interesting check. Striker off, midfield player on.
Well, what they'll find is that Rui Costa will push slightly forward, and he'll partner Shevchenko up front and play really at the top of the diamond. As you say, the midfield player, I think they just need to be resilient in there and be stronger.
Now Serginho.
Well, Ambrosini's a strong player, and he does like to get on the ball. He likes to put in a challenge, and I think he'll add a little bit to the cause at the moment.
Serginho. Dessena is back doing the defending. The young sub. Seedorf is down. And the ball is just knocked out of play. Now, was there something that happened off the ball there? Is the referee having a word with one of the Parma players?
No, it was just a challenge early on, and he was unfortunate that he got caught a little bit late. The studs coming in. It was actually a free kick. But I don't think there was any malice at all involved. I think it was the captain who actually made the challenge.
He has been shown a yellow card. So the referee obviously, well, he spotted it. He was right on the spot. Obviously decided to let the play go on.
I think he's done very well at that. It's caught up with him once or twice and hasn't worked in his favour. But on that occasion, I thought he felt that Milan had the possession of play and could make something happen. And then he went back, gave the free kick, and made the booking.
With around a quarter of an hour to play in this live Italian Serie A game here on Setanta Sports. He's made the best of that clearance, Matteo Guardalben.
Contini was the player who really should have got the ball very early, and you would expect Guardalben to have done better, knock the ball up the pitch with his left foot, but he's obviously not very confident with that. But that's silly play now. You see Seedorf throwing the ball back, and he's always in an offside position, and you just don't expect that from 2 international players like Seedorf and Gattuso.
Maldini tries to steal himself a little bit of ground. He's still doing so, isn't he? He was offside nowhere near where he took that free kick. Corradi's conceded so many free kicks. But his team is still in with a chance of pulling off a shock result. And with Inter dropping points against Siena earlier on, Juve would be barely able to believe their luck if Parma can get themselves an equaliser.
Well, you see Carlo Ancelotti's out in the tactical area trying to encourage his players, but I just feel players of this standing shouldn't need that kind of encouragement. It should be self-inflicted, and they should really impose themselves in the game. They know it's drifting. They've got to get a hold of the ball. They've got to pass it. They've got to keep it and get better in this game. And the second half has been very ordinary from them.
Fernando Couto penalised.
Kicking his countryman, and as I say, they came through the Portuguese youth system, and
over 200 caps between them. Portugal have got some very good young players as well. They're keeping on either producing or, you could say, signing players.
Well, what they did 20 or 30 years ago realised it had to be looked at very seriously, and they produced some wonderful talent. Figo, Couto, Rui Costa. It was a golden era, and really you felt with that kind of quality should have won a competition.
And there is an argument now, of course, that they're still playing and picking up their big wages rather on reputation. Has been said of Luis Figo at Inter this season. Flick on that has got to be dealt with by Kaladze. He's decided to go backwards. Dessena carry on putting the pressure, and it was a late challenge there from the youngster. Well, I suppose Kaladze will tell you he made the right decision to go back towards his own goal in the end.
Well, he got it wrong at the start. The crowd were involved and gave him a little bit of stick, but I thought he showed great composure there, coming out, kept the ball, but they're just playing simply poorly at the minute. Milan, they've just got to keep it.
Now they're attacking, and Serginho. Well, the rules of the home supporters let you know what they thought of the cross.
Well, he knows himself. He's a quality player, and tonight I think he's had a lot of the ball, certainly in the first half, but his final ball in has been simply dreadful. And Shevchenko, you see, making the run to the near post. All he wanted, the ball was slid across there. Couto was trying to cover it, but we saw from the first goal, you ping the ball in behind the defender, invite the forward player to get a challenge on it. Anything can happen.
Shevchenko with the layoff, and then Rui Costa finds Seedorf. Seedorf again, just opts to retain possession. There's nothing wrong with that from Milan, as long as they do it effectively. Rui Costa in possession, waved on by the assistant referee, and he plays in a dangerous looking ball, and it's turned in by Andriy Shevchenko. And surely with 10 minutes left to play, that has finally wrapped up the 3 points for Milan tonight.
Well, Rui Costa absolutely brilliant. Out on the touchline, really a lot of work to do. Very simple, just glided himself past the defender and then zipped that ball in near post. Terrific runs from Shevchenko. You can see him pulling away, sprinted forward, balls in, gets in front of the keeper. Simple, just pass the ball into the back of the net. Super goal.
Well, it was exactly what Serginho should have done a moment or two earlier. Perfectly executed by the substitute.
Well, I think Ancelotti deserves a pat in the back as well. I think he delayed making the substitute for 5 minutes too long, but I think he made the right decision. He put two people on, asked for a little bit of inspiration, and he's got it.
Well, it's been a nervous 10 minutes for Milan. They should have done enough, but they have conceded a free kick. Marchioni, the man who's gone down, and it's within shooting range. Goal back now for Parma, and we would once again have a contest. Limping away from the scene of his injury, Marco Macchioni. Pirlo sorting out the wall with Dida. The referee, Mazzoleni, is making sure that they are the right distance back. They're usually more than the right distance back. There's a whole committee of Parma players around it. And it's chipped in. Well, you could see what they were trying to do. It was Contini who chipped it in for the forward run of Marchioni. They didn't quite get it right.
It was almost brilliant. Almost brilliant. You can see Milan, they've lost the player. Nobody's really went with him. It's a delicate little chip in, and it just was too far. Terrific invention. Training ground, I like to see it. I like that little bit of thought to go into a free kick. Almost worked.
The trouble is, you don't get many shots at it now. They've done it, and they've revealed it to us all, and they got it wrong, which is a shame, because it was clever. But here come Milan looking for a fifth. It's blocked out. Bresciano, which gives the ball to nobody. Nesta attacked it well. Gattuso. Flag raised against Corradi. His run of scoring in 4 consecutive matches, it would seem, is not going to be extended to 5. Zeljko Kalac, who is a striker, as is Filippo Inzaghi. So we are going to see more changes from the 2 coaches. Been a much better second half performance from Parma, even though they have conceded the 4th goal. For another one of their own, and it's been forced in. Dida wasn't able to make the save, and it's Macchioni with his 2nd of the game. It's only his 3rd of the season, but he's a man who's after a move to one of the big clubs, and he's doing himself no harm at all tonight, and he's opened this game up again. It's 4-3. Can you believe that?
Well, it's a super goal actually, and Corradi does so well, but Marchioni does so well as well. You can't really be challenged there, because if they miss him, they're going to give away a penalty kick. Dida gets his hand to it. It isn't strong enough, although it was going to be tough for the Brazilian goalkeeper. And the ball just trickles over the line. It's a big goal, but Gattuso and company, well, I think the second half they've been quite disappointing. And this is one of the reasons why Milan are having the troubles they're having this year. They're losing points at the vital time, and you can see the frustration of the coach, and definitely hear the frustration of the supporters.
Well, I wonder whether that will change Paretta's thoughts. I wonder if it was going to be striker for striker, and whether he might now gamble and go looking for the 4th.
Well, again, that's a very tight call for offside. It was a long way out, but I think the official got that wrong also. But I think the concern has to be Ancelotti's at the moment, because quite honestly, it's 2 different teams. You've spoken about Roma, which team you're going to see, but tonight we've seen the first half from Milan completely different from the second. First half they were excellent, their passing was good, their attitude was right, they defended well, all right, 1 goal mistake by the goalkeeper. Other than that, it was good.
Well, Corradi's been dragged back there, and it's going to be a yellow card for Pirlo. No arguments there. You can see the shirt almost came off his back.
Well, it's frustration, and you can see he's given the rest of the defenders some stick, because they're not closing down. They're allowing the Corradi to turn and run at them, and that shouldn't happen.
Now we'll see if we've got anything else clever worked out. So it is a defender who's gone off. Matteo Contini, the left back, has gone off as Zeljko Kalac, the striker. Slovenian striker to come on. It's another young man. And there's a change for Milan. It's old Billy Costacurta coming on. Grizzled old veteran defender. Serginho going off. Ancelotti is clearly concerned.
Well, he's disappointed with Jorginho's defending, that's for sure. We know how talented he is going forward, although his final ball can poor tonight, I think, too often. But Billy Costacurta is a very experienced player, can play centre-back or can play left-back, so he's got the choice of playing on the left-back position or moving Kaladze across and putting Billy Costacurta in there. But he needs to defend now, and he knows that. He can't lose 2 points here tonight.
And with 3 minutes left of normal time, there is some big defending to be done as Bresciano takes the free kick. Didn't really test either the way that they would have wanted.
Well, I'm not sure he could score from that distance, I think. And I said so often, players have got to realise their distance. And he is a mighty big man, the Brazilian. And he covered the ground very easily there. And that was a big chance, you know, because 4-3, they've just got the third goal. They've pushed players up. Milan a little bit nervous.
Well, we have a fascinating climax to this game. Milan simply need to win. They need to reduce the deficit to Juventus back to 9 points. Well, Marchioni let it run and was hoping to get the ball back into his feet from Corradi. Too much on it, though, from the centre forward.
Well, it's a straight swap. Costacurta is playing in the left-back position, so obviously Ancelotti wasn't best pleased with Jorginho's defending, and he's asked the experienced Costacurta to come in just to tighten up the defence.
And launch another one forward. Nesta just swings a boot through it. Anywhere will do. Win it back. Fernando Couto with the challenge. And then Dedic helps it on towards Bresciano. And Marchioni now, the scorer of 2 goals. Can he fashion a third? Simplício. Pinball around the edge of the Milan penalty area. Well, you wouldn't have thought that this outcome of this game would be possible, the way that it ended with Parma on top. Here they come again, looking for an unlikely equaliser. And Corradi goes down, and he's penalised. Coach can't believe it.
Well, it's not finished yet. There will be 1 or 2 minutes to add on, but I've got to say, the second half, Parma have really come out. And they've played so well the second half, the extent that they've got their act together, they've passed better, they've got forward better. And they've looked a formidable outfit. They keep this spirit going. He's looking at his watch, but they can survive this season. I think Milan, you can see the problems they do have. They can be very good and they can be very ordinary. And defensively, they're not solid. So overall tonight, we've got a good impression of both of these sides.
Well, Rui Costa, who produced a little bit of magic to give Shevchenko that 4th goal that we thought was going to wrap it up. And you can see Beretta is furious with the referee.
Well, it was the official on this side who gave the free kick, and he's going to get told off. He sent him off.
Well, it's hard to see that he could have done anything else. The way he ran onto the outside of his technical area, yelling and shouting.
Well, I do think the referee and his assistants have maybe got not every decision right tonight. I think that was a physical contest for the ball. Rui Costa's strong, and I think that was a fair challenge, and you can understand the frustration. 45 minutes played, and really he's fighting for his life, and that's the frustration of the coach.
He's had a difficult game tonight, the young referee. It's only his 4th Serie A game. I'm sure that he'll have a few things to say after the game. He's not going to see whether his side pull off this remarkable comeback or not. Safe to say he's angry. Here's a free kick for Milan, headed away by Fernando Couto. Pirlo to Seedorf. They want the ball at this end of the field. But Guardalben has it again. This time he will be within his rights to launch it forward. Wasn't the best of clearances, but he's found a white shirt. Marchioni battling away. Kaladze's done well that time.
I think he's had a solid game. He's made one or two very crucial challenges and won important balls, and I think overall he's defended as well as anybody.
With around a minute left to go of stoppage time. Parma looking for a fourth goal to give themselves a point. Anything would have been a bonus for them. Shevchenko's back inside his own half. Gattuso's under pressure. Well, they can't be satisfied with the way they played in the second period, Parma. They might be more than satisfied. There might be still something left in the game for them. Bresciano tries to put a bit of pressure on Šimić. He can't do anything with that.
Well, I think when you look at the first half, you never thought that Milan would be hanging on at the end of the game to get something out of it, and quite honestly, that's what they're doing at the moment.
And Marchioni, who's had such a good game for Parma, has it gone out? It now has. Still contesting the decision. It could be the end of the game. Milan have stumbled their way to 3 points, it would seem. Surely when the ball goes back into play, Mr. Mazzoleni will blow his whistle. Dida's taking his time, he's dragging those big feet back for a 4-goal performance and a victory. It has been decidedly unconvincing from Milan, but the referee confirms the victory. Well, what a game it was. They went behind. Howler from Dida gave Paolo Cannavaro a goal. They stormed back. An own goal by Cardone. Gilardino against his old club, and Kakha made it 3-1 at half-time. But then in the second half, there was a fight back. Marchioni made it 3-2. Bit of magic by Rui Costa set up Shevchenko to make it 4-2, but the game still wasn't over. Marchioni again. Some sloppy defending allowed him in behind. Gattuso couldn't believe it. Most of the Milan fans couldn't believe it. Now this is how it affects the table. The stats there show a comfortable victory in terms of possession, but it wasn't that for Milan. Now they reduced the gap one way or another to 9 points on Juve. In terms of quality, though, I don't think Juve would have been too concerned, but they do at least leapfrog over Inter, who dropped points earlier on today against Siena. They're 3 points clear of Fiorentina, and so one way or another they have confirmed and consolidated a place in the Champions League positions. But what a game we've had tonight. Serie A action is back on Setanta Sports next Sunday night. It's Milan again. You never know what you're going to get. Tonight they've got themselves a victory, but it was a long way around it. They've finally beaten Parma here at the San Siro. Final score tonight is Milan 4, Parma 3.
Away from McCormick, has a good ball in, and it's scored by Hudson!
Fantastic moment for Celtic, and how well they deserve it.
That's a wonderful strike by Alan Johnson. Celtic hardly runs.
Get inside the heart of your club. For more information or to subscribe, call 08700 85 1888.
Please welcome Rangers Football Club.
Are you ready for the quest for 52? Here on Rangers TV, we'll be here to bring you every game, every goal, every kick of the ball. Tune in to Ibrox Uncovered to get all the latest news, views and interviews. We'll be on hand to preview all the big matches at home and abroad and to bring you all the reaction that counts. Watch the young guns come through as we give you exclusive access to the Rangers reserves and youth teams. Relive the glory days with classic matches and interviews. Get up close and personal with the players as we find out what makes them tick. Rangers TV, the only place to see all the Rangers SPL games this season. The last SPL campaign gave us an unforgettable championship win. This year, we're on the quest for 52. Are you ready? Your club, your channel, Rangers TV, the channel of the champions.
Bring the drama, passion, skill and action of football on Setanta Sports to your business and get your name in front of hundreds of thousands of our sports-minded viewers. We've got advertising packages tailored to suit your business needs. So to advertise on Setanta, simply call 0207 287 3388. Put your company into a winning position. Call 0207 287 3388.